On.
I think we're on yours. We're on yours. Let's see if mine comes up. We're on yours. You were on yours. We're on yours.
Trying to do the two thing again.
I know. We got Digger and Gopher. There we go. Oh, it just said that I got notified that you're on me.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So that's good. Hi, everybody. How you doing? We got
Dad.
Dad stopped in for a visit, or I drug him in for a visit, or he was alongside the road and I picked him up for a visit.
Welcome aboard.
Crawled in or something.
There you go.
I'm sorry you have to put up with our shenanigans today.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
Things usually go a little off the rails.
Well, that's the whole thing. I'm apologizing ahead of time because you think Keith is bad. I'm just not sure with Dad what's going to happen, but we'll try stuff. But no, I thought we'd get him out because I like to try like on a Thursday night to do therapy with him, and it was the puzzles and the bird houses, and I was going to come out, but I've not been feeling very well the last few days. Dad's been having some issues with his arthritis too because of the cold changeover and the moisture and the dampness, and this hand is basically just about went crazy. So I've been kind of slacking off for a little while, but we're back out, so I thought we'd come out. We'd visit over at Diggers for a little while.
We can't go to any car shows today, so
no, not
might
today.
as well sit here.
We're still waiting on the Cavalcade, and then Jeff's and Shane's one in February. So those are the two other ones. Now I know there's a Ford one going on, and there was one that just went on. And a couple other smaller events, personal events that I was invited to that I just couldn't get to. And I apologize. Sorry, but it happens out that way sometimes. Who do we got? We got somebody watching you. Oh, Triple B, happy birthday. I mean,
thank you.
Triple B, hey.
My birthday is actually in 1 week.
1 week. Yeah. So, but we've been watching some of the videos and everything. Digger has been working on
some drone stuff,
right? And some personally, you've been working on models and stuff.
Oh,
again.
yeah.
So
I started picking up on the models again.
Yeah. So we're gonna look forward to some of that.
Yeah. Well, got to get out the airbrush again.
Yeah. There you go. Well, take some little clippets and stuff as you're doing
about maybe whenever I know that I've got something cool to do,
right?
To just do a quick little live.
Well, oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you could do that from here. Just set up just like you got it now. Just put it down and just do whatever. That'd be sweet. I'd like that.
Yeah, because whenever we're not doing this place is a mess with model stuff everywhere. So
Foster, hey, what's up, buddy? He was in the last time. Look, you got so many people popping up over here. It's crazy. Like you're getting popular.
No. Not me.
But we've been watching videos and stuff because we don't have internet over to where Mom and Dad stay in the next house over, so we don't have video there.
Yeah.
Because we don't have internet or phone or whatever and everything. And so I've been downloading some YouTube stuff, your stuff, Matthew Charrington stuff. Been watching a lot of Matthew's motorcycle stuff where he's been building. So Dad watched for hours on Matthew Charrington's site and stuff. Watch where he's doing and everything. We watch the drone stuff from Diggers. Yeah. We watch all the drone stuff and everything like that. So it doesn't really help your channel out much because we're watching it offline.
Oh,
but yeah, he's enjoying it, so that's pretty cool.
All that matters.
So, yeah. So do that, and I even the ones that I shoot and stuff like that, I've been downloading them because he doesn't, like I said, doesn't have the internet where they're at right currently, and we'll get that. Hopefully, we'll get this rectified and straightened out in the next couple months and everything. I hope. I got a couple of one-on-ones to do with individuals in the Midway Crystal Lake area, some guys that have their home personal shops and stuff, but they also do work on other cars for folks. I'm going to try and go do the one-on-ones there. A lot of those guys have several vehicles, so we're going to try and get that up in the next few weeks and stuff if we can and see what goes on. But yeah, you're working on the drone stuff. You're putting some of that up. You're working on the model stuff. Dad, I'm going to try as the weather gets warmer, because of his shakiness and stuff. I've been a little concerned about getting him around cut off saws, band saws,
Oh yeah.
things that cut steel, cut metal, whatever. Because one shake, he's like me, one shake, and then we're walking around
Yeah.
like this and stuff. So what we're going to do is try and get him set up. He built himself a little table last year.
Yeah.
A little workstation out in the garage over at my sister's place next door. So we're going to try and get him set up on that little table where he'll do a lot of more wood stuff where he can just sand stuff. So he wanted to make the knives. He used to make knives when he worked at Delco, when he worked for GM on his off time, quote unquote.
No, it wasn't no off.
Government job.
So when he got the machines up and running and they were running and stuff, then he would go and you would work on making these knives or whatever. You made 64 of them.
Wow.
And they he never probably sold one. Everybody wanted one. Yeah, you sold one?
Yeah.
Sold one out of the 64. The rest of them were gifts and stuff. All the foremans, the general foremans, the managers, the shop guys, all of them wanted one, so they ended up getting them.
Huh.
But so I thought we'd get the steel blanks, because you can get steel blanks now for the knives. They're already hardened. They're not sharpened, but he can put a final grind on it without too much trouble, even if he does it by hand.
Right.
And we've got that big grinding station that we got. That's made to just do that, and it's kind of a safe thing for him. So we're going to try and get that set up to where he does basically the handles. He'll put a guard on them, put the handles on them and stuff like that, but the steel's already pre-cut and shaped.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about getting those. The problem is right now, a lot of that nice, good Damascus steel, the nice, pretty designer steel and stuff they have, the price has just gone.
You're not going to get Pakistan?
No, it wasn't. No. The price has just gone wackadoodle.
Tony's on.
Tony's there. Oh no, we can start now.
You're not first.
You're not first. Foster
kicked your
Foster
butt.
was first, and
He beat
then Scuba Steve was first on Diggers. Ha ha! That's
By the way, if you hear anything, my Roomba just fired up, so it's
the
sweeping
Roomba's
the house.
The Roomba's sweeping the house. Does the cat set on it like they do? They show this
No,
one.
I wish. I've tried.
Oh, I'm telling you what.
That would be a video moment.
even without all of that, if you would just turn a video camera on with the stuff that Hootie does.
Oh,
the
if I
craziness.
had him chasing a laser, he's a trip. That boy, he slides halfway down the hall whenever you change directions on that dot.
Let's go. If I'm talking a little bit loud, my one ear shut down again. This is the side of my head I have a lot of trouble with and stuff. So this ear kind of shut down again. So
Well, it's all right. You're all annoying.
I'm annoyed. I had my adenoids taken out, so I shouldn't be as annoying as I was. That didn't work. What are you laughing? Dad's like,
where's flip phone?
Yeah, the smart guy. Anyway, Camaro Keith and stuff. If you're out there, Keith, you know where we are.
You're welcome to come on over.
Can you hear that little V6 kicking in? Whoa! Coming out of Tip City, running down 202, heading this way. But yeah, doors open.
Back door.
Yeah, the back door. Don't come in the front door. That's got the shotgun mounted to it. No, don't come to that one. It's that home security, redneck home security and stuff. You either get the door.
It's cocked all the time.
Okay, yeah. But I was talking. Dad and I were talking this morning about cars. Dad and I talk about cars and stuff, but we have for years and everything. He likes telling the story about being on the farm doing different stuff. Oh, the black t-shirt, Aaron. I'm going to get him one of those t-shirts that change colors or something. So he'll put it on, think it's a black t-shirt. He'll put it on, all of a sudden,
as soon as he sweats, it turns red.
It'll be the whole rainbow striping or whatever. I'll put the whole coalition sign on the back. He'll never know the difference for a minute anyway. But Dad and I talk about cars and stuff all the time and everything. And Dad was talking about, like, because I like burnouts and stuff. I like sanctioned burnouts where they do it in a controlled area and stuff. But Dad was telling me a story. You told the story a long time ago about you were doing burnouts back years and years and years ago and stuff. And what was the Ford?
Had the Ford.
Which Ford was it?
Fairlane Ford.
Yeah.
55.
55 Fairlane.
Nice.
I
You bought new tires
I
for
bought
it,
new tires for it. They was coming kind of rough tires, and I bought new ones in it. I
And-
bought the Air Ride.
and they called it an air ride. They
Called
were
it,
soft.
real- yeah.
They were soft, gummy tires with real
Yeah.
big, soft sidewalls to give cushion for the roads and everything like that.
Huh.
And then you took it out one day and
Yeah.
went down to the corner store. What was the name of that store?
It was down in Raymond. That
Raymond, Ohio.
Yeah, and we went in there and I met a bunch of boys and stuff there with cars, and they was spinning them out in front of the store. and
They were doing burnouts in front of the store.
everything. And so
Did you show
they
them up?
said when.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he said when they got done and everything, they said, "Ain't you going to burn them out?" I said, "Nope." I said, "I don't know."
Well, they were new tires.
And he said they kept going on after me.
Peer pressure.
I said,
That's what
"Okay."
happens.
I said, "All right." So I got in that thing. It was a pink and black Ford.
Ooh, nice. Did you have the glass top?
No,
No, this one didn't have the
Oh,
glass top. No.
and
My
When-
dad
when-
actually had a 55 Ford.
when I power braked it, then I started, and everything started going. And the more I poured it to it, the more. And
Giving
so
it to
they
beans.
went. I done it for about 20 feet. It burnt the rubber for that. I went down the road and turned around and
Come around the
back,
block.
and they said they was all laughing and everything. And I said, "What are you laughing at?" They said, "Go out there in front of the store and look and see what it is."
You
I
lose
went
a
out
hubcap?
there, and they was little rubber balls all over that.
It took and melt since they were gummy tires,
Yeah.
soft tread
Oh,
tires,
yeah.
and made
Clumped apart.
it melted the tread,
Yeah.
made little balls out of it. Nothing on the tires. What happened a couple days later?
Well, that next
The one
weekend,
burnout wasted the tire.
My mom and dad, daddy always. I took the vehicle one weekend, and then they had it the next weekend. And daddy would take the mom and them to church in London, and so on the way, on the way there, they got about halfway to London, and daddy had a flat tire. And when he took the tire off, when he took it off, he said,
Where's all my
"That
rubber?"
thing-" Yeah, he said, "What have you done to that thing?" I said,
I was
"Not
stuck.
really. I didn't do much to it." And daddy said, "You had to because them rear tires is gone."
Yeah, and he
I
said that the thing that went through it was a little pebble,
Little pebble.
a little, not a sharp one, just a little round pebble, because it had wore so thin with those soft tires.
That one burnout, that
Yep.
thin.
Pushed it
Wow.
right through.
Thank God we got away from
That was back when
tire
the tires were $1, weren't they, Dad?
It
It was a nickel for gas and $1 for tires.
Well, they were cheaper. I mean, I got them
Where'd you get him?
bonded.
He got him from the
Yeah.
bonded gas station.
Yeah.
God, I haven't even heard of bonded for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Is that the one that had all the little holes, the little air holes in the roof?
Yeah.
He's got to tell about
Air
mine.
holes.
When I
Yeah,
started
watch it.
going with my wife, she got in there, and I took her to Urbana to the drive-in or to the indoor movie. Come back, and she's looking at that there, and it had little holes all through it, just so far apart. She says, "How in the world did they get them holes in there?" I said, "I took a pen, put in there."
And she
And
went,
She believed me.
wow. How long did she believe you until you told her the difference?
I had quite a while.
I take it they were little rusted pinholes.
No, they were just the regular air holes that they have when you open and close your door because of the
Oh, okay.
whatever. But your roof has all those little teeny holes all
they-
over it, the whole decoration.
Yeah.
She thought that he honestly sat there and punched him. How'd you get him so perfect? Isn't that what she said?
Secret.
And that was
Next time you see her, you'll have to ask her about that.
Yeah, she hates when we remember that and stuff like that, everything. So, but yeah, part of Dad's therapy is to remember then and then remember now. So it helps him separate the difference. Dementia, Parkinson's has an effect, but the dementia it makes it hard to separate the past and the present, right?
Yeah.
Makes it hard to separate the past and the present. So what we do is we work on trying to get a story from then and then a story maybe from last week, and then discuss the now. So it's okay to remember,
Right.
but to know it's a memory instead of what it's going on now. Because there's times when we get a little confused, and
Oh, yeah.
like today, you said something that we did today, but we didn't do it today. We did it
Yeah.
yesterday and stuff
Yeah.
and everything.
That's not too bad.
No, it's not. No, that's what I'm saying. It's only 24 hours
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
compared to thinking that it's 1940,
70. Yeah.
48 or whatever,
Right.
you know, today
Yeah.
and stuff. So it works real good. And it's not a thing. We don't get angry about it. Sometimes he gets a little,
Well, I get frustrated.
Well,
Frustrate a little bit,
I can
but
understand that.
it works really good. It works really good with his therapy to do that and stuff. And, you know, and it is a lot of effort. He knows it. I know it. We all
Yeah.
know it. It's a lot of effort, but just like anything, you got to do it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Not do it and just sit there and dwell and whatever and stuff. So that's why I do try and get him movies. So we'll remember movies, because we'll see movies that we
do, puzzles too.
do the puzzles.
But
We do the puzzles.
I put one on. The last one we put on took us 4 days to do it.
Yep.
And I just hadn't been interested in doing another one right away.
Is that when you
Right.
switched over to the birdhouses?
Yeah.
Yep. And we went to the bird. So we're going to do another birdhouse pretty soon,
Yeah.
because we're looking for newspapers, because I want to do some
Those are hard to come by nowadays.
I know, that's the thing. We used to have stacks and stacks of newspapers and magazines. I want to do the paper mache thing. So we want to try and make some paper mache houses. So we
Oh,
want to
that'd be
take,
neat.
so we
Yeah.
want to try and make either balloons or make a cardboard box and paper mache it, then waterproof it and seal it and make birdhouses out of that. Because that helps with his hands, helps with the neuron transfer, the brain, the mechanical ability of his brain to transfer thoughts into actual motion with his hands. The shaking will never go away. It's kind of like mine in this one. It'll never go away. But what we're trying to do is keep the muscles so that they're still connected to a control pattern,
Yeah.
instead of them just running rampant and shaking all the time and stuff. So we deal with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it is depressing, but we as a group, might be Keith. We as a group try not to allow it to overpower us, because once you're controlled by the malady or disease, then the depression starts in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we try not to get depressed.
Yeah,
What?
that's pretty hard to
Yeah,
get.
it is.
Yeah.
But we try, we work around and through a lot of that. We try not to get depressed about a lot of it. I mean, the loss of my sister and relatives being ill and all kinds of other stuff. We
And
try.
my golf cart going down.
Yeah, well, we got the golf cart repaired.
Right,
Thank
yeah.
you again, Jake. Jake
Yep,
saved the
Jake,
day.
I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. So we got the thing, because that gives him a little freedom, because we don't so much allow him. It's not that we don't allow him. We just don't let him drive as much.
I'm just kind of
Yeah,
on
'cause-
my own too. I'm skittish about
Right.
that.
So we still allow him to have the golf cart.
Right.
We got it turned down. It used to do over 22 mile an hour. We got it turned down to 12. So, and Mom keeps saying, we need to turn that down more. But if we did that, he could actually walk faster than it would, whatever. And he
Yeah.
hauls garbage and leaves and pulls stumps and all kinds of stuff with it. I mean, so that
It's-
allows
it's a
him
little-
to get going.
It's a little Jeepster.
Yeah, it allows. It's an 80. Isn't it an 83?
It's
It's an 83, or maybe older than that.
I don't know, but
That's almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
man.
It's well,
I think
when they sold it to it, when we traded the car for it, they said it was a
98.
It might be an 88.
Yeah.
They said it was a 90 some, but it turned out to where it wasn't that at all. Let me see
They buffaloed you.
let's see who was trying to get a hold of me here. Oh, hey, anybody that's interested, you can go to MiamiValleyNovas.com. And Rob has has over 350 pictures on the website that he just posted up. So you can go to the events and go to photos, pictures, and stuff. MiamiValleyNovas.com, and Rob Schrader's got the pictures up. He just notified me. Thanks, Rob.
Like he can hear you.
I just see. Okay.
I'm saying though, you held the phone up and you said, "Thanks, Rob."
Well, he can see, but he's not going to see. Anyway, so those are up. But yeah, so we try and work.
I'm gonna go kill Roomba for a minute.
Okay, Digger will be back. So we try and work a lot of different stuff into your therapy, and then rotate it, because I know when you do the puzzles, it gets to be tense. It gets to be, you start having anxiety issues and stuff, because Dad has a tendency to take a round peg and put it in a square hole.
Hey,
So
you know,
he makes them fit sometimes.
For
and
some
stuff.
people, that's a talent.
He does it pretty good, because then we'll have pieces left over and we'll go, none of these fit
Those are
these things.
spare parts.
I know, but then we'll get looking. And we'll see where some of them were just slightly persuaded.
They were optional.
Yeah, persuaded to fit in that hole. But the ones you like, the puzzles you like, are mostly like farm scenes,
Yeah,
horses, tractors, barns, cars, old cars, stuff like that. The problem is when we go to, and they get expensive. New puzzles are like $20. They're crazy.
Have you tried a dollar store?
That's where we go.
even,
But we go to the dollar store, and we go to the Salvation Army,
Yeah.
and what's the other ones? The thrift stores and all that stuff. The problem with that is they'll go all through this, and there'll be one or two pieces missing.
Oh well.
Not really, because what I'd like to do is allow him to put them together, and then I want to seal them and put them in a frame.
Yeah.
And then possibly Dad suggested to auction them off for the Gopher Gas Fund, so that we can, if people want to donate money,
Oh.
and whoever donates money can get a nice framed
Right.
whatever, and then I can utilize that for the gas fund for the Gopher to get around to the shows and stuff.
I'll tell you, you guys come up with some cool stuff.
Well, I mean, that way somebody gets something that they may not have wanted to take the
Yeah.
time to do and put together and whatever, and it helps me get to the shows, because that funding, and I appreciate everybody making the donations. I really do. It really works out. But Dad's always thinking about, well, because he likes to see the stuff too. And he knows, like, the guys that are in the VA or in the hospital and whatever, he knows what it's like not be able to get out. And he knows, what they appreciate and how much they appreciate it being done. So, it's all a big family type of thing and whatever. And like I said, all that goes back into trying to either get me there or get into an event or get something fixed to get to the event. I mean, and that's what it is right now. So the Gopher still is on the list, but it is just too cold and my hands hurt too bad right now to be able to try and get out there and do all that, to take it apart, to get the radiator out. I have a bad feeling once I get the radiator fixed, it might be something else. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and do the radiator, all the hoses, and the water pump, and the thermostat. Not the water pump. I can't get the water pump. You have to dismantle the motor to get the water. It's one of those ones that's built into the. So it basically, the motor has to come out to even get it.
Oh, kind of like my Ford Flex, where they built the water pump inside the engine.
Yeah. I saw that on a lot of some of the new 4-cylinder, and I don't want to say Ecotech, but one is the 4 cylinders with the turbo on it and everything like that. The water pumps are now part of the turbo. Yeah, to where the turbo mounts on the shaft that the water
you'll be
pumps
spending a lot of water.
Well, they're water cooled turbos now too. So
that may not be a bad thing.
No, but the replacement of them, and they do go bad. The replacement of them, because you have to. So basically, you not only have to do a turbo service, you also have to do a water pump service and all the seals and to get to it. Of course, you have to take the intake manifold off because it's on that side, and the exhaust manifold because it's on that.
I'll tell you,
it's just
some of these engineers these days.
Well, they're looking at it from a space and or assembly economics, not a service economics. Does anybody else agree with that?
If you look at some of the big, like, fire trucks from the 30s and 40s, they've got, I believe it's a water pump or a fuel pump or whatever on the back of the alternator.
Right. Yeah, that was another thing I was going to say. They have the alternator, the turbocharger, and the water pump all on the same shaft, mounted, driving off the gear of the crank.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea,
but you have to basically replace all of that from a service standpoint.
When it goes
right.
down.
From a service standpoint, if you replace one and you paid $1,000 to have all that done, and the other one goes bad. So what they're saying is to replace them all.
Right.
I can't, the cost and waste thing on that is,
Well, when
It's
the
weird
when
to
the
me.
Flex had the water pump issue, Ford wanted
hey, Max. Hey, Sean. Sorry.
Ford wanted $2,800 to replace the water pump.
Yeah. $2,800 to replace the water.
I managed to get somebody to do it for around $800 with all the parts, and I went ahead and had them do timing chains and oil
Well,
what I call oil pump and all that stuff while they were in there.
Kia on Mom's van, the trouble we had with Mom's van is a little part that sets under the manifold, the intake manifold sets under the intake manifold in a small block that bolts to the top of the oil gully, the return oil gully, and has a sensor in it for oil pressure and or a few other things, is a non-serviceable part. Kia broke it.
They weren't supposed to take it apart.
They
but
weren't. There was no reason to take it apart. They just needed to take the manifold off to replace the sensor, and instead they took the entire block out of the center of the motor that had the sensor on it and cracked the block. That's a non-serviceable part. Does not exist in the United States. Had to be ordered from Kia, and then Kia said, "Oh, we don't keep those." What do you mean they don't keep them? They didn't have it. So we went through that. That was $3,000.
Yeah.
Got it back. Still leaking, still whatever.
Yeah, it didn't last a day.
No, it on the way home.
Yeah.
On the way home it was leaking, but not as bad. But then when she started up the next morning to do the grocery run, it was just, there's a trail all the way to the grocery store and all the way back. So we had to get a hold of Bobby Jordan down at
Jordan
Motor Works on what is that? Industrial
Executive
Boulevard here in Huber Heights, Dayton, Huber Heights. And he took it in, pulled that off, and said, wow. It was the cheapest made, crappiest part, and it took him.
Well, that's why it's non-serviceable. It's
Yeah.
a one-time mount.
You put it in, and it's never meant to be pulled off again because whatever. And he finally tracked one down. It took a couple weeks, but he tracked one down, got it, put it on, burped the system, had to re-burp the system and all that stuff and everything. And for what they wanted, $7,000 was the estimate to have all that. And $7,000. I don't want to tell you exactly what it was, but it was under $200. Thank you, Bobby. But that's the same way with Jake. So Jake took the golf cart, and I called around for almost a year.
Yeah, a long time.
Wow.
It was almost a year trying to get somebody to work on a 2-cycle. Nobody wants to work on the 2-cycle golf carts motors anymore. And it was a Robin. They made 2 series of Robins, a high-powered and a low-powered Robin. And then they made all the other ones were Kawasaki motors. So they made those 2 on that entire year for the Easy Goes, for several years of the Easy Goes. If it had been the Kawasaki, it would have been easier. But the Robin doesn't necessarily have as many parts and whatever floating around and stuff like that. But nobody wanted to work on them. They said, well, we got electrics and we've got the new 4-cycle ones. And that's all they wanted. They just wanted to sell you on.
Nobody wants.
They didn't even want to take, they don't even want to take it in on trade-in anymore. Yeah. So none of the golf cart places and stuff. And a lot of the places that did work on them just closed down. They just basically went out of business. So Jake had them, and he usually works on electric ones, but he works on Volkswagen. So if you work on a Volkswagen, pretty much you work on it. I'm just saying. So he did Volkswagen. He does Volkswagens, Triumphs professionally and whatever. And he did the Jeep. He basically built a frame here recently for a Jeep that was it was totally rotted out. He got it in there. He's got a TR7. I think it's I might be mistaken, Jake. I think it's a TR7. It's either a 71, 72, or 73 TR7 with a V6. I believe the Buick V6 swap in it. Oh my! He says first and second gear just just goes crazy. I think he got it for his lady friend, wife, girlfriend, whatever. Sorry, apologize, whatever. Got it for her and stuff like that. But that's one of the shops where I want to go over because he's got the Baja Bug. He's got the replica, the kit cars, the Triumph, the motorcycles. So he's got some motorcycles, Triumph motor. So I want to get over there and do a whole thing on him and everything because it's close by and it's easier for me to get there and back to mom and dad easy because it's only 2 blocks over. So we'll do that.
I
We got
want
Sean.
to talk about my.
Who's in the yellow hat? Sean, that's my father. That's Bob Sparks. That's
Dad.
yeah, that's the one you blame for this. Just saying.
It's all his fault.
You blame him for this. But this is part of his therapy. Dad, we try and do therapy, everyone. His
Hi,
grandpa
Max.
had a golf cart. Oh, Harley Davidson. Yeah. Harley, I passed up. Who do we got? Oh, Max. Yeah, Max is out there. We'll see who we got. We got one over there. I got 5 again. That's great. Yeah, I passed up a couple of Harley before we got this one. I passed up a couple Harley Davidson's motors and stuff. Some of those had the Italian motors. The Harley Davidson golf cart, the 3-wheelers, had the Italian motors, and then they got all crazy. And then Harley went to and put in a.
That was all back in the AMF.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Wasn't that back in the AMF?
Yeah.
Era.
Yeah. So, but they had all
not
kinds of
Harley's better time.
Well, yeah, but without AMF, Harley would have been long gone, owned by another entity.
True.
So
yeah,
AMF, for whatever anybody wants to say, AMF saved Harley. We can discuss that all you want, or you can yell and argue with me, but it doesn't matter. I was there. So, and I preferably like the lake pans, shovels on through and whatever, because those are the ones I can work on. So shovel heads are my favorite, even though they're a leaky SOB. and mismatched parts when they come off the assembly line. I've had a lot of guys, when I talk to them and stuff, they'll be coming down the assembly line and they'll do a right tube, fork tube, and a left fork tube, and they'll have different parts in each one, and wonder why the shafts and the spacers, why it acts funny, why one side's weaker than the other or whatever, because when they come down the line, whatever was laying there, that's what they put on. Now,
back in the AMF days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, anybody can discuss that and or argue it with me, but I've pulled way too many of them off to tell you that's how it was. So
I wouldn't know. I've ridden my share of motorcycles, but never really.
I've fallen off on more motorcycles than most people's ridden.
Probably.
What were you going to say, Dan?
I want to go back to my knife making in the shop.
Oh, the knife making. Go ahead.
Because I was making the knives, and the machine repairmen and electricians and plumbers and millwrights and all them guys, they'd want me. That's where most of the knives went to, is making them for them guys. Because I told them, I said, the only way I can do it, I say, you have to get me one of you have to get me the aluminum block.
Yeah.
And then the others have to get me the Bakelite and plexiglass.
Right.
And then
that's what he was making the handles out of. The guards and the butt caps were made out of blocks of aluminums that he turned down and turned into whatever shape he wanted. Right. And then he would alternate stack plexiglass and Bakelite strips, and then he'd grind into the handle for that.
So I was doing that one day, and this girl come up on my job there.
Now remember, a million people are.
I know.
Okay. I know. I have to remind him not to go wherever.
She says, you the guy that makes knives? And I said, yeah. She said, I want you to make me a 4-inch knife blade. And I said, oh, yeah. Why? I said, oh, what are you going to do with a knife like that? She said, I want it big enough to put in my pocketbook. And
you tightened up too, didn't you?
What are you going to do with it? I said, she says, I'm going to kill my husband. I said, you ain't killing him with my knife.
And again,
your fingerprints would still be on that.
And again, Dad's just remembering. It may or may not have actually ever happened. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it happened.
Shh. I'm trying to put in a disclaimer.
He said my live feed locked up.
What?
I don't know why.
It says it's still running here.
Yeah, it says it's still running. I don't know. There's only one person watching now. There was 3, but
well, it's still running. It looks like it's still running. It's still running. It's still powered. So
we'll let it roll.
Sorry. For all of you that's watching Diggers and mine at the same time, if not, make sure that you go to Diggers and see how his was, because you never know. You might see something different.
You see things from a different angle.
Yeah, a different perspective. And yours is so much clearer than mine.
Well,
But you know, it's an old camera. It's an old everything. What do we got? Oh, Steve said he's still there. He just switched over. Sean said he's in Enon. It's coming in clear. Sean's the one that I said lives over there, always comments and stuff because he's lived in this whole area from Urbana to Enon to Springfield and whatever for a long time and everything. We always have discussions about what his family's had in cars and different things and stuff. So it's always good. Good time, Sean. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. But you had a oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So
I was just doing that.
I told her, I said, I wouldn't make.
We're going back to the illegal. I want to kill my husband.
Yeah, then after I made all these 64 knives and stuff,
Allegedly.
And so my foreman come down one day and he says, Bob, he says, would you make me a knife? I says, no. He says, why not? I said, the way you treated us and everything.
Are most of these people are long gone by now, aren't they?
Gone. They're gone.
Yeah, Dad's outlasted most of them. Not sure if the knife making had anything to do with it or not. Just saying.
So he says, well, if you won't make me a knife, he says, your knife making days is over with. Says,
yeah, you got to grease that palm, don't you? It's like just everything else. If they're not whatever, they just won't let you do the right thing. And and you weren't making anything off of this. You were doing it for
I think I got something like maybe $12, $15 out of that at
one knife.
Sold.
Yeah.
Say my dad used to work at Mechaneer, which became Micafil, but they used to do they made armature winders.
Oh, yeah.
That wound the copper wire on armatures and everything. My dad found a little armature, that they had produced for years, and they had a whole box of them that they weren't going to use anymore.
Yeah.
Dad took them and milled them down sideways,
right,
and made tie tacks out of them.
Oh, sweet!
And they looked exactly like an armature winding sitting right there.
Yeah,
I still have one. He made a bunch of them and he handed them out to all the people where he worked at and everything. But I still have one of his, and that's it.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Those were really,
I've got
really
the
cool.
knife. I've got the. Oh, Dad made shock absorbers. Let me see. This is a shock absorber. So I don't know if you guys can see.
Does it snap apart?
Yeah, it comes apart.
Yeah,
and screws. So this is a shock absorber. So that's kind of like a replica. Is that like a replica of the tank shock?
Yep.
Dad made shocks for the Army tanks. So made shock absorbers. Oh, I'm sorry. Made shock absorbers.
They're kind of like those little push pin.
Right. Yeah,
Quick
but
disconnects.
this one unscrews and stuff. But that's a replica of the shock, the tank shocks that Dad made.
That is really neat.
What was that for the Abrams, or which ones were they for?
That was the only one that was the Abrams.
Was it Abrams?
Have you ever had anything to do with RC cars?
Yeah, way back when.
Dude, that looks like an
yeah.
RC car shock.
Yeah.
That looks like the shock.
But
housing.
dimension-wise, if you take the shock, and the shock was this big around, wasn't it, Dad?
Oh,
holy cow!
Yeah, the shock was probably a foot through.
The mounting bar.
Yeah. Well, the mounting bar was like 3 inches.
No,
wasn't
it? It was. Yeah, it was every bit of 3 inches.
3 inches. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah, and it was about 6 to 8 inches long. And them rubbers they pushed on there, and then they take them and put them on the
shocks and stuff like that. But yeah, that's a replica of that. So he made those. What you did shocks for every car.
We made shocks for every replacement vehicle going.
Right.
Not just GM.
Not just
no,
GM.
yeah, everything. Foreign cars,
Yeah.
everything. But see, that's how it comes apart and stuff. He just made it so straight.
Okay, so you've got quarter 20.
Yeah.
Huh. What this is a
the bullet.
No, it's just a dial pin.
Oh, just the dial pin
with threads in it, and this is just a shoulder
Well,
shoulder bolt.
There's a lot more machining than just a dowel pin.
Yeah.
I can. I mean,
Yeah.
But I done all
what is
that.
it? Derek says.
Yeah.
I have to believe it because I'm seeing it. Right
Yeah,
now.
there you go.
I done all that with just a bench grinder.
Matt Man in Tennessee. Hey, what's up, buddy? We're
That's
spending some time here with
impressive.
Digger and Dad.
Hiya.
You want to hear about Bob's first car, my dad's first car? What was
They didn't have cars then.
you didn't have the Hup, you had the
No, yeah, my dad had the Hup.
yeah,
Not
What
a
was your first?
Hupmobile.
What was your
Right.
first car?
it was a Hup
What was my first car?
tractor.
And how old were you when you?
No,
first-
no. We're not-
He
we're
was
not-
probably like 12,
No.
13.
Now you did you had to take a test right back then, but Papal
Yeah.
didn't have to. Papal just had to sign his name.
Right.
Remember how I was
Oh,
telling
wow.
you to get licensed back then? You just had to, but they had just changed it over, and Dad actually had to take quote unquote. Was it a written test, or did you have to just sit in the car?
Had a written test and a driving test.
There you go.
Huh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So they just changed over to do that when they started paving roads and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now you didn't have many Fords. You had mostly.
well, yeah, I had
Working at GM, I would expect.
Well, he
him to
wasn't
be
working at GM then. He was still
Oh,
working
okay.
on the farm then.
Yeah, I was on the farm. Yeah, we had a Chevy convertible, had that Ford, had
What war?
58 Chevys,
Mm.
58 Buick.
Yeah. Now see, now Papo Beaver was mostly
Buick.
Buick.
He was all
Almost
Buick.
always Buick.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest things that I remember is you'd go over there and this car would be jacked up on cinder blocks, 12 foot in the air. And he'd be out there rebuilding the motor in the car.
Oh, from underneath.
Transmission,
Just-
mostly
yeah.
transmission.
Well, he rebuilt a lot of automatic transmissions back then.
Well,
Okay, this-
Dynaflow.
The Dynaflows, the 2-speed Buick Dynaflows had
Oh,
the torque
yeah.
converters on them like that. They're huge. And this is one of the things. I'm not saying this is a good thing, and I'm not saying it was an underhanded thing. I'm just saying, and he owned the junkyard there.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
owned the oldest junkyard
Yeah.
in Marysville, Ohio. It was the original junk. They lived on the dump, the city dump. No, okay. Everybody talks about the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah.
They literally lived on the outskirts of town where they had the dump. Papo got some of the property, bought the old dump when they quit dumping, bought the old dump and built the house on the dump. And he would buy cars for $5 or $10. I went with him
Yeah.
out in the middle of a field, trees growing up through
Yeah.
for $5 or $10, bring him back, do whatever he needed to do to him, anywhere from $35 to $65 all day long. Well, on the weekends when I was with him and stuff, we were at the junkyard pulling parts or whatever. He had was it an A truck? It was an A Model A wrecker, wasn't it?
No, I can't.
It wasn't a T wrecker.
No, it was.
It wasn't a C cab. It was but
no,
it was a old truck.
old truck, and he made
Wooden spoke.
He made the hoist on.
He
it
made
and
her put a
everything.
wrecker on the back
Yeah.
of it, and the outer hub rim and everything broke off of it, and only the spokes were sticking out on one side.
And
So he
probably
had a
still-
tire, and he still
drove it.
still was pulling stuff
Around over the junkyard.
out of the junkyard and stuff with that wooden spoke on one side, just going for years. I would have thought that the spokes would have pulled out of the hub, and they
Hey.
never did. They never did. I know
They were-
Ford. I know.
Built Ford tough.
I know Ford. But he ran that thing. It had the original motor in it, so it had the 4-cylinder in it.
Yeah.
4-cylinder flathead.
Yeah, and I watched him. Listen, this is where I learned how I learned that Buick made pickup trucks.
I did not know that.
Sure, here it is. Watch this. You get what year Buick did he have? The
55,
The
54,
54.
50, 51.
Okay, so he had all those.
Yeah.
Buick made a pickup truck. All you got to do is take the trunk lid off.
Oh well, I can imagine.
I
that's
have watched
big enough
him.
Trunk.
I have watched him put 3 engine blocks in the back of those to where the bumper was almost dragging the ground, and haul them down the highway at 70 miles an hour, going to either the scrapyard or wherever and stuff
Well,
like that.
Back then, they
And-
overkilled
and
when
seeing-
they built cars. They
Oh, I know.
overkilled
But seeing the road like this, because reverse was up here.
Yeah.
First was down here, and it was 2-speed, and just going down the highway at 70 miles an hour with that V8 Buick, blam!
How-
Looking out the window.
How does it? This was
Reverse.
I'm saying that this was a stick on the column.
It was a automatic on the column.
Oh, automatic. Okay. 'Cause
2-speed
I'm
automatic.
thinking, how did you do a 2-speed on the column? I don't think
No,
they
no,
ever did
was
that,
a-
did they?
No,
'Cause, I mean, I'm very fluent with a 3-speed on the column, but
Didn't-
I don't think they ever had a
You
3-speed.
had drive.
Ford Falcons did have a 4-speed on the column.
Yeah.
Which I've
Oh,
never
well,
personally seen.
the
but
68 vans, the
does
68
exist.
Chevy vans had 4 speeds on the column.
Well, no,
Huh.
the Buick that he only had low in drive.
Right. The 2-speed. It was the
And then
Dynaflow.
We got neutral and then reverse.
Yeah. Reverse was way up here. Neutral
You sure-
was
usually reverse was way down.
I know,
on
but it
those.
wasn't.
Huh.
It was way up here.
Wow.
Anyway, we're just talking again. Who do we got out there? Oh, your first car. We never got around to that. Sean wants to know about your first car. You can't remember? You've
Yeah,
had a lot of them.
I had quite a few of them. But
Haven't we all?
50, 55, and then a 53, and a 50, 58.
But what was your first one?
50.
My first one was a 53 Chevy convertible.
Man.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
And we had all that. Well, that you had. What do you have? Was it the 60 or the 62 that you had Impala?
I was at
62.
Mm.
62 4-door.
no,
Even a 4-door would be cool. I'm not against 4-door cars.
Remember at the trailer court?
newer stuff? Different.
now
but
that was the
Old stuff?
69
I'm okay with it.
Chevelle that I ordered.
No. Before the Chevelle,
That was a
Impala.
Mom, no, it was just a 50 Chevy with the 6-cylinder. And Mom, that's the first time thing.
You had
she
it.
learned.
You had a 62 Impala. I believe it was a 62. And you sold it to.
don't tell me it was a bubble top.
And I don't know whether it was or not. I can't remember that. It was a 62 4-door, and you sold it to Bob
wow.
Daniels. And Bob Daniels was driving it, but the steering was, this was touching one side, this was touching. So you had to drive down the road like this because the steering was that wore out.
Yeah.
I've had cars like that.
Yeah. It was a 62.
Yeah.
It was a 62.
Yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, we've had, my first one was the Thriftmaster, the 48 3/4 ton Thriftmaster pickup.
Yeah.
Had the ton axles. They put a ton axle. It was a 3/4 ton truck that they pulled the rear axle out of and put a ton axle under, and they used on the farm in Kentucky. And then I got it. Then we had the 69 and all the vans. So all the vans like that.
Yeah.
72 through 78?
It was a 72. It was my first one. I
75.
Bought new.
75.
72.
It was 72,
Then
but we
it
had a
was-
75
no,
was the,
77.
nope, that was Doc's.
78. Nope. Mine was the cream colored
Was buckskin tan and
cream
Cordoba brown. That was a
Yeah.
that was a 75.
Nope. That was a 77.
And then we had the 78,
Yeah.
and then we started getting Suburbans.
79.
Then we started getting Suburbans.
Yeah.
Had many Suburbans.
Still have
Two.
well.
Yeah, we still got one of them. We got the 72 van.
Yeah.
It's still sitting there. It has a 350 4-bolt main in it, so it's got the big.
I've
4-bolt
not even
main.
seen that.
Yeah, it's hidden back where all the Volkswagens are. You never seen all my Volkswagens either.
He's holding
And
out on me.
no,
He's
I'm
holding
not.
out on me.
I'm not selling it. I'm not selling any of it. Well, I've got 2 transmissions, 2 motors
I knew
I
you had
got-
a bunch of parts, but I knew you had a bunch of cars.
in there. But yeah, there's a 73 Super Beetle and a 72 Beetle, and then the Cushmans. I got all the Cushman parts out there. I got
Now
all the
see-
motorcycle parts out there.
Buddy, old pal,
What about?
I don't think you're ever going to get
Four-
around to working on this Super Beetle.
Oh, the
4-cylinder Chevy 2
we got the Chevy 2 engine. It's not
$110.
it's not the everybody said it's the Iron Duke. It's not the Iron Duke, but it's the 190. It's either a 153 or a 152.
It's the
It's-
little Chevy.
It's the little
six-cylinder.
Chevy 4-cylinder.
Oh, 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
those
it's
are
the
actually
little-
rare.
Yes, but they
Yeah.
still manufacture the blocks
Yeah,
and all the
Iron
parts for
Duke,
it.
That wasn't until like 71.
Right, but that's a
72.
different that's a different motor. This was the
Right.
early one. They still manufacture all the parts for that, for generators, boats, marine, whatever and
Yeah.
stuff. So we can still get parts for that that motor.
Mm.
We still have what is the midget cars that we have, the parts that we have for the it's not the Austins. What else we got with the front end, the rear end, and whatever out of
Oh, it's been so long ago.
I know it's still out there.
They got stuff I don't even know about.
Yeah.
But about that 73 Super Beater,
Yeah, no.
I mean, you know, it's
No,
kind of
it's
just sitting there.
no.
We-
The entire pan's gone. So I opened the doors one day and it went. Whoom. It's just spread
got-
out.
You got
Well,
that
you know, we can
400
always-
turbo.
Put
Well,
that
I've got all
body
the
over on
transmissions.
another
I've got
chassis.
several. There's several 400 transmissions out there. We still got. I got the
Yeah, one of 'em.
350. I got the 350 out of the that's set up for race. I got the Power Glide.
Yeah,
There's a Power Glide up there
Yeah.
set up for race and stuff like that. What do we got?
and that 400, my cousin built it when he was going to transmission school.
Yeah. We got a bunch of them that have been built up and stuff like that. So another reason I'm doing a lot of this and stuff is I put up videos about mom and dad because of a lot of our relatives that are in Kentucky and Salt Lift, Sulphur Run, Moorhead, where
Yeah. Moorhead and
Yeah.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Sell me something.
Oh, hey, Mike, Muzzle Mike, Dad, Reverend Mike's on here. Super GP4.
I got first dibs on the 73 Super Beater or the 72 Beetle, whichever one. Not picky.
Thanks, Sean. We appreciate it, buddy. Mike, how you doing, Mike? Long time no see.
What about your scooter,
The Cushman?
Cushman?
Okay, so I've got the one that's inside
Yeah.
is Dad's old one that he had that I have memories of standing up on the
Wow.
leg brace,
4 pins.
standing up on the leg brace and looking over the handlebars. I remember
Yeah.
one of my first memories was that when we went to go get a haircut.
Yeah.
And that
Wow.
was, oh my God. And it's a 48. And then the other one for parts is a 47, but I don't have any motor, centrifugal, or title for that. I've got the title for the 48.
Wow.
And everything.
When was the title put in his name though?
In his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not telling him. We don't know. They're trying to get all this information.
I'm always
you gotta watch this guy. But no,
he still won't tell me how old he is.
yeah, I'm old. Well, they
It's
just
ancient.
celebrate the ancient. Yeah, there's okay. Jesus had short pants on. I'm just saying. You know, they were laying
Were you the
foundation.
guy that invented these overall?
Yeah,
overall
no, they were
things?
laying. No, the minions did this. So, all the minions. They were just laying the foundation for the first pyramid. The
You
47.
saw that
I-
on the internet, right?
Yeah, I did. the 47 Cushman A box that I have. It's got a lot of rust and whatever, but I'm keeping the frame and trying to preserve the serial number so that I can have, because they didn't have titles to those. They had registration plates.
Mm.
So it's stamped into the side on the frame. So you don't have a title when you go to get one. It has a registration. You have
Yeah.
a certificate is basically what it is. So I'm trying to save that because I want to put
That'd be
Either
almost
a
like
Triumph-
pink slip, wouldn't it?
but it's not a, they didn't have a title because there's no
Yeah.
VIN plates. There's just a number stamped on the side of those.
Yeah.
I want to get like an old Triumph, the old Triumph snorkel mount with the 2-cylinder Triumph and whatever. I would love to be able to spin the side of the A box and put a Triumph motor in there. Could you hear that thing coming down the road?
See, I was thinking just take it as is and make it into wall art.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
mean,
think there's
patina and
actually
all.
some trees growing through it right now.
No,
Is it
it's
in between the two trees?
Yeah.
It's up against the fence in between the two trees.
2 trees holding it up.
I think the two trees are holding the fence up too. Yeah, very possibly. But it is what it is. 1 thumbs up. Nobody watching.
He says title can be yours, can be had from Indiana.
He's making a joke about. Oh, it's a long story. I'll tell you about that someday. Yeah. Well, I know where it came from. A relative, because a relative had that one. The 47 that we went to pick up in Marysville, that was a relative.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but that was a relative. So I know they just didn't have. It hadn't been registered. Now yours, Doc got yours, and run it on the farm.
No, I got that one there when I was still working at GM, and then I took it up. Doc and Kevin wanted it
Right, to run on the
to
farm,
run on the farm,
and
they was getting ready to move
and we got it back.
and got it back.
But they took the centrifugal, the expansion clutch on it and stuff. They took it and they crammed a bunch of old grain belting in between it, so it was always on. So as soon as you hit that, it went wham. It was full speed right off, and that's a 4-horse motor that uses the same electronic parts, the same points and distributor and all that as the tractors did. I just haven't messed with it. I painted it once, so I painted it a brilliant blue. I put mirror reflective pinstriping on it and little cherry. I did a cherry bomb, the old cherry bomb symbol that had the fuse coming over. So I did a dual image cherry bomb in 2 different colors on the side of it. This was when I was a kid, so and whatever. And I took the regular on-off throttle off and put a motorcycle. Oh, actually, it's a Whizzer throttle. It come off an old Whizzer. Wow. So it was a gradual feed throttle instead of on and off.
Yeah.
Because the throttle that was on there was mostly like a tractor. It was on or off. And that was it. So but I still got all the parts. Anytime I do anything like that on any of them, I always say, how I am. I always get the bucket out and set the bucket down, and all the parts that come off go in there. I've still got buckets that go with things that have been dismantled, just in case I ever want to put it all back together.
I had a cool mini bike at one time. It was not just a standard mini bike. It had some good sized spoke rims on it.
Oh yeah.
Like
you remember who made it?
12 inch.
Was it a Sears?
I had no clue.
Yeah.
I got a
I was-
two-speed
back in like-
transmission for that, and a centrifugal clutch.
Right. We
that
got
you
a
could
forward reverse. We got a
Yeah.
2-speed forward and a
Yeah.
reverse.
use, just 2-speed.
It's just a 2-speed forward. We didn't get the one with the reverse. Oh, anyway, that goes onto the Cushman because they had different models that had different whatever. We've got the parts, but anyway. When did you get that?
Well, this was like 79, 80, something like that.
Mhm.
But it actually had suspension front and rear.
Oh,
and
wow.
but it was a mini bike. But back then I didn't know that anything about centrifugal clutches.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, due to rust, it was completely locked up.
Yeah.
So I would have to run next to it.
To start it.
Oh, I'd have to run at the top. I mean, the fastest I could run to get that motor to go poke, 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 poke. And then I'd jump on it. And boy, once I started going, holy cow, I don't know what the top end would have been on that thing because the way it was geared, I had to run full speed just to get it to start spinning enough just to go thump, thump, thump. Once it got going, it was very slow to pick up speed, but
yeah, because it was locked into high.
Once it started picking up speed, though, whoa! Oh, it was.
Remember the Pook that I had and the Harley that I had?
Oh yeah.
Everybody, there we go. Harley didn't make one with pedals on it. Yes, they did.
Oh, I thought that's the way they all started out.
No, Harley made, and I had one of those, and then the Pook I had because Mr. Push across the street used to complain all the time because Dad would be out there spinning it because I was trying to get it so I could get it running low end. It would run high end. It would run wide open.
Yeah,
but I couldn't get it to run.
Is that the
idle.
one that's still in the shed?
It was
over
pooched
there
down
on
low.
the other lot.
No, the one that's in the shed on the other lot is a 175 that's been punched to a 90. That's a Kawasaki. So that's it's a Kawasaki on and off trail. Oh my gosh, the lugging power that this thing has. It was a 175 that they punched out, put and enlarged the jug and the sleeve and everything on it and made it a 190. And I've had that everywhere. It tops out at about 55. It's just screaming at 55, and that's almost 9,000 RPMs on that motor. So, but no,
they were made to do though.
Yeah, the Pook, we used to start. Dad would grab and he'd start cranking, and I'd be trying to tune the carburetor, which the carburetor was like a hole about this big, and it'd just be whatever. And I'm trying to tune it and stuff, and it would go, it just scream. And
how was that?
I
meant the part before that.
Oh, well, it was firing and missing and firing, and flame was coming out of the little short header that was part of the problem too. It didn't go into the expansion chamber.
Didn't have the tuned header on.
So it just had the short tube on it that would have went into the expansion chamber, which you've got to have on two cycles for them to run. You've got to have it. That's got to your exhaust and your intake has to be tuned. Anyway, it would run flat out, and and fire would just roar out of that thing. And it had to be turning 9,000. It just was screaming, and he would complain and stuff like that. And so we'd shut it off. But we did that 2 or 3 times trying to get it to where I could get it tuned down so it was run. But the problem is, again, I should have had the expansion chamber on the exhaust, and I could have got it to idle. I couldn't get it to idle because it didn't have it on there, and it only wanted to go, and I couldn't pedal fast enough. So Dad would crank it, like he would sweat he would be out there cranking that pedal because we'd have it all jacked up. He'd be cranking that pedal, and that thing would just be.
Now, see, if I had a dad like yours, I'd have been out riding that mini bike right. But back then, my dad was so against that mini bike. He hated that thing so much. He wouldn't look at it. Back then, a new clutch for that at Throckmorton's down the street, which I could have ridden my bike to and bought the new clutch. New clutch was like $8.
Yeah.
And here I was pushing that thing everywhere I went as fast as I could just to get it go tup, 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 tup. And all I needed was an $8 clutch.
Yeah.
But Dad wouldn't. He wouldn't.
I know.
He wouldn't even let me put a clutch on it.
For years after I got into Volkswagens, the off-road racing, Volkswagen, all that stuff, I couldn't bring one home. Dad got upset that I put one in the driveway.
Well,
so I had to park.
My dad got upset when I put a hearse in the driveway.
Now, see, he wouldn't have been upset about that. It was just the Volkswagens or foreign cars, the Datsuns and stuff like that. But they were good vehicles. You got to admit that my sand rails, my dune bug, all that stuff.
GM.
I know back then
but he doesn't have a Toyota.
He isn't like that now. Neither one of us are like that.
Back
we
then,
used to be so hardcore GM.
If you had a
so
Toyota
hardcore, but now
or a Honda and you drove it to GM, you were probably gonna come out with it sitting on its top.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, they didn't. They actually threaten some of the guys that were driving foreign cars at the GM parking lot.
That was just before I went to work.
Yeah. So they were threatening guys there and whatever. So I mean, but. Listen, them Volkswagens and the Datsuns and stuff that I had, they proved themselves. You got to admit, they proved themselves way over, buddy. I'm telling you what.
50-year-old cars that got better gas mileage than today's brand new cars.
Yeah, I got 39 miles a gallon in my Datsun at 120 mile an hour. Going down the highway, just bam!
That's what I say.
That was front motor, rear drive. It was a 79 210, and it screamed. 5-speed, 39 mile a gallon.
And you could work on it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, well, but I did the BMWs too. So I did the BMWs and Ferraris. And so when I was at Hopkins, I learned to do a lot of exotics because a lot of the people that worked there would buy exotics. It was that whole prestige thing. So they would buy exotics. So I learned to work on all those and stuff. So Audis, that's when I learned all about the offset 5-cylinder Audis and stuff, and the power that those things did, and the durability did, and the fuel economy. Yeah. Well, I'll have to ask her about that. I'm not sure, but anyway, see, that's what do you say here? He said, Steve said, size don't matter. Steve, I love you, brother. She must love you too. All I can say. Sean goes, who saved Harley? Well, during the AMF years, AMF did. Everybody wants to put them down and say they were crap and whatever, but if they hadn't have stepped in
Well, they were
And-
crap, but
yes, but if they
kept
hadn't-
they kept it going.
here, they kept it here.
Going.
Yeah.
They
So-
weren't great at it.
Yeah.
But they did keep it going.
Well, you know, a lot of the AMF. I mean, that's when I was.
if I
like-
remember right, Harley's actually been sold.
Oh my
several
God.
times, many times.
Yeah,
over
I think
years.
the employees
AMF was just
bought,
one of
and
the-
yeah, it was just one of the people that tried to save it and keep it here. Hey, KJ, what's going on? Kevin Faust is out there, Dad. Say hey, Kevin.
Oh, is he?
Kevin, Big Red Dodge.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
You wanna stand rail?
No, you're not getting rid of my.
Yes.
You have to take down a barn to get it, and you're not going to get it.
I got a van that'll pull that barn.
So,
down.
Dad, So,
took-
Dad,
I took one ride with him, and that was the last.
no, you've been in it more than that. It was the one ride at the
And
gravel
you
pit.
was driving.
Yeah,
The rest of them, I was driving, or Mom was driving.
Mom would jump in that thing with me
Yeah.
today if I get it out.
Yeah.
She'd jump in today.
I can believe that.
She just sits there and just
She's-
enjoys it. Dad's like this.
Well, she's a beaver. She didn't have much sense.
That
Obviously, she
Wow.
got with you.
Well,
Turn that. See how I made that turn right there?
she's still got the spunk in her though.
Oh yeah.
I
oh,
can,
yeah.
I can
Yeah.
definitely believe it.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll tell you that little woman is working her butt off.
Still every day.
Still.
Every day. Can't make her stop. Can't make her slow down. Whatever. But it's her thing. So you know,
Hey.
whatever she's doing, she does.
She crochets
Oh,
Africans.
Yeah, Reverend Mike, Muzzle Mike had the rabbits. I love them rabbits. The early GTI, the rabbits, the little fueling rabbits.
The ones that
diesel-
look kind of like a thing, but not quite as ugly.
Well, no, it was a GTI. Well, yeah, I guess you kind of could, but it was the early on ones. And those and the caddies. The caddies were the pickup trucks, the rabbit pickup trucks.
Oh yeah,
So they had those.
yeah. There's guys that run around the shows.
Well, I take those guys at the shows. I always
Black
there's
and
three
orange
of them. There's three of them that always kind of show up. Whatever. I would love to have one of those. There's a gas
I
one
think, well, I was
and
gonna
two
say,
diesel
one of them's
ones.
even diesel. or
Yeah,
not.
there's two diesels. Yeah.
If you saw a rabbit on 40, it was probably a black and orange one.
Oh, the Harley one. Yeah, it's black and orange with Harley stickers.
Oh, is
on
that
it.
what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got Harley.
I just
stickers.
know it's cool looking.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few of them out there. Not all of them are driving this winter, but they were out there and stuff like that. So, but yeah. What else we got? We got.
Absolutely nothing.
Oh no, we got John Deere tractors out the Yang
Yeah.
lawn and garden tractors. Now
Yeah.
we had the best ones I liked was the older ones, but now you like the A better than the B. I like the
Oh.
B.
But the B it just wasn't powerful as the A.
No, but every day you go out and start it up and whoop, 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 do whatever you needed to
Same
do
with the A and the G.
with the front wheel right in the air, just like this most of the time. Because you could haul what up to a you couldn't haul a 6 with the B, a 6 bottom,
No, you couldn't.
because
even
it'd put
two
you
bottoms
you
before
can two
get-
bottom, maybe a 3 if you were soft
Well,
ground and you weighted the front a lot,
Yeah.
and you didn't hit any
Yeah.
ruts or
the-
stumps
the
because
A-
it would stop
The
it.
A was a 312 one, and I run that thing for years.
What was the? Did you have a molding? Did you have a Minneapolis molding?
When I went on the other farm and stuff, there was an OU,
Yeah.
Minneapolis Molding OU, and then there was a UB
Yeah.
and a Z. And the
Um,
UB was a bottle gas.
Right. So I was going to say the bottle gas one and stuff. What was the one you started with gasoline and switched over?
That's A John Deere.
The A John Deere?
You could we'd put it had a 2-gallon tank on the front
Right.
behind the
Yeah.
gas.
And in the wintertime, you could
In the
start it.
winter- in the summertime. We all had done the plow and stuff with kerosene.
Right.
Because kerosene give you a lot more power.
Yeah, torque.
And
Because the piston was this big around. And it was just like
pretty good.
boom, boom. Yeah.
I
Did
was into the remember the little Huffy 5-horse
Yeah.
riding
Yeah,
lawnmowers. I had a bunch of those.
Well,
Back
we
in the
used
day,
to like JR Jr.,
A
my
lot-
my
lot
uncle,
of
your
wheelies.
brother-in-law. Yeah, used to set them up for tractor
Race.
pulls for tractor
Yeah.
pulls and racing.
I got the 12 horse that he had right now.
Didn't he
Oh
win
my
championship with that 12 horse?
God. Yep.
Won
He-
championship with a
he
stock?
won,
Semi-modified. Semi-modified.
Yes,
because
something
he
like
did
that.
he
But
did modification on
could
the intake and
outpull
exhaust, but he outpulled V
fours.
yeah.
He would outpull
Four cylinders.
Yes.
Say the last Huffy 5-horse I had, the very first one had the fiberglass body on the front.
Mm.
The last one I had the steel
Oh
nose
yeah.
and everything. You know, you have a 3-speed forward, 1-speed reverse.
Yep.
I lowered the whole thing, put go-kart spindles on the front. I had the pipes from
Stacks.
underneath the
Yeah.
sink.
Yeah.
With spark plugs in them.
Oh,
I,
for
I
throwers,
turned the throttle into
choke it.
to choke it,
Yeah,
and then had me a BMX bike
like
trigger
yeah.
on the steering wheel
Yeah.
for the throttle.
Yeah.
So I could choke it out, throttle it up, and everything. And I blurped some
Well, what I
flames out of
liked
that.
about
But I had big, huge wheels and tires on the back of it,
so you had big and little
and the seat I lowered to where
between the axles.
I was between the
Yeah,
tires
yeah.
with no fenders.
We got to have that low center of gravity.
but it was powerful enough that I had to put wheelie bars on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we put the Pinto motors in the tractor pulls. So when they're at the fairgrounds, they put the 4-cylinder Pinto motors
yeah.
and the truck V6s in the lawn and garden, and they'd run those, but they used to break quite often.
See, my dad
forward-
just wasn't hip to me hopping things up and
Yeah.
doing stuff. I always had to do it when he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. What was it? What was it?
That 55 Ford, the guys that run around with had 50 Oldsmobiles
Yeah.
and had all different kinds of cars and stuff. Would he take that Oldsmobile and he'd rev that and run that thing up,
Back it up.
jack it, and then turn the key off?
Oh my God.
Backfire.
Blow the exhaust
Yeah.
clean off of it.
Done that Ford. Both of them. Split them. And I
On the
running
55
up.
that you had?
Yeah.
Blew the exhaust.
I come in driving in there.
Dad.
I go in the house and Dad said, "What are you driving?" I said, "The Ford." He said, "That ain't doesn't sound like no Ford out there." I said, "Well," I said, "I don't know what happened, but I said it backfired and blowed the." And it blowed both of them. Right.
Reverend Mike, Muzzle Mike, said that he drives a KLR tractor. It's a Kawasaki KLR motorcycle, but they sound just like they go because they're single, they're thumpers, they're single.
Mhm.
That's one I love. Thumpers, 500cc Pook motors or any of the 500cc blocks and stuff. I love those. Just raw, straight horsepower. Just boom. I
John
loved it.
Deere, when they quit making the 2-banger, they quit making John Deere.
Well, but now it's
Yeah.
now you have to have a computer.
You gotta have a
Yeah.
college degree.
Yeah,
to
you
run
got to have a
the darn
computer
things,
degree
yeah.
to run it, and then
Yeah.
once you get it started, you're not running it anymore anyway. John Deere's running it from their satellite. John Deere has a satellite now. Did you know?
GPS.
Yep. John Deere has their own dedicated satellites and stuff
Yeah.
up there running your tractors, keeping an eye on them, telling you when to fix them, telling you where to take them to fix them, and not letting you fix them at all.
I got me a John Deere birdhouse.
Yeah, Dad
Oh,
made him
yeah.
a John
Yeah, I
Deere
saw
birdhouse.
that.
That was fun, though. That was really fun to do that. Hey, you want to see something wild? 8 folks.
0.
They come here. They come here just to see you, Dad.
Oh,
Well, they may not have come here to see you until they found out you were here, and then they went, "The crazy guy's on."
no. Well, you have to be crazy to be around.
And
Well,
and
you
then
don't have a choice.
and then again, I wouldn't be like that if it wasn't for.
No, he got that after his mom.
I
No,
I know
I
him.
can't
I
say
know him
that.
all.
May-
He's
may-
50-50.
maybe it was
What I
around his
got
grandpa
his
Beaver's
craziness and
funeral.
her anger.
Or vice versa. I don't know.
He did
But
get.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
there was days. There were days.
He did.
But we won't
Maybe
talk
it
about
was
that.
Grandpa Beaver's when he was
Oh, my
around
gosh.
so much.
Grandma Beaver
Oh,
just was a little Indian woman, just like Mom.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, loved her, but man, she would mess you up.
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I don't think I'd want to. I wouldn't want to upset your mom today, let alone.
No, I don't
in the-
either.
In,
I don't
in,
either.
in the past, you know.
Yeah,
You-
you better
you
be
hurt me.
you better be a really light sleeper. I'm just saying.
Or a fast runner.
Yeah, and she's got that whole elephant thing. I never forget, and I'll wait forever.
Yeah, she sure did.
Dad goes, yep. She'll never forget, and she will wait forever. Remember
And-
that time back in '03?
I've heard that in action too.
Yeah, well, gotta love her. Though. She
Mhm.
keeps us. She keeps us all together. That's what's important and stuff. She might be the glue. I'm the funk. No, I don't know what it is. That's what it is.
I was gonna say she might be the glue, but you're the sticky shit that holds
I'm
it all together.
Thanks. Yeah. Some days I don't hold it together all that well, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah, someday
It's a work in
someday
progress.
maybe.
No, it'll never happen. You all right, Dad?
Yeah, I'm
You getting
getting a little sore.
a little sore? I know
Hard-
you've run around the block 6 times just
Put him
sitting
on
there.
hard metal chair.
Well,
No,
it's
it ain't
his
it ain't that. It's just me.
old.
There ain't no padding down there no more.
No, he's all bones. He's just all his joints and stuff. Yeah. So, well, we're good. Are you okay?
No, I'm okay
You
for.
want to take a break?
No, I'm okay.
All right. No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. No, he's not. Who we got?
He's not okay either.
He says your dad's great. Thank you, Sean.
See you
Later,
Rev.
Rev. We'll see you later, buddy. Muzzle Mike's got to go. I think your camera did shut down, but it's still recording, so we're good.
I don't know, how would you be able to tell?
I don't know. Go on your computer and pull up your channel and see if it's running live. But
You know, if it's,
that's an effort.
if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's
Again, if it is there, you can always go over there to enjoy it. You might see it from a different perspective. What is it? About a foot and a half?
not. Yeah,
About a foot and a half away.
14 inches.
Where's Steve at? No, let's see. Triple B. Oh, there he is. Triple B said, "Hi, Dad." That's Steve Coltice. Remember Steve, Scuba Steve? I went out to his shop.
Yeah.
Okay. I went out to his shop.
The
The
wacky man.
wacky man. That's he's pretty cool.
Nice seeing you.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, and if you go out to Scuba Steve's shop,
I'm gonna take you
you
with
got
me.
to take me with you.
Yeah, we're gonna go out there sometime. I ought to go out to visit. I'd like to go out. There's a lot of times I want to go, but you know, it's kind of like a juggling act, trying to figure out when I got the time in between there and stuff. I've been blessed to be able to get to as many as I did this year with
Yeah.
everything that's going on. Hopefully, once we get a lot of this other legality stuff, and we're not going to talk about it, but a lot of this other legality stuff taken care of and stuff, then I can work on getting someone to come in for a few hours on the weekends. Right now, there's just no finances, no way we can do any of that stuff. So we just got to watch that. But anyway, then I'll be able to get out, and possibly we're thinking about, Mom wants to take a trip so bad to go up to Youngstown to visit Matthew Charrington.
Mhm.
She wants to go up there so bad. She can't stand it.
Yeah.
She wants to go up and everything. So that'll be like a 3 or 4 day trip. So I'm going to try and do that like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and be back. So I won't miss any of the regular stuff going on show wise, and we
Yeah.
can go up there and visit with him and everything. I'm sad that my sister won't get it. She really enjoyed Matthew,
Mhm.
and he was very kind to her and spent a lot of time with her and stuff. Very nice, and we got to do that and everything. And I'm just sad that she won't be able to be there, but I'll take her with me and stuff. So,
So
anyway,
that's a little bit of
primer.
model paint.
Yeah, looks like primer.
Sorry, I got a couple drips on your table.
It's not my table. This is the dungeon. This is just the gopher hole. The gopher hole's right here. That kind of sucked the oxygen out of the air. It's one of those vortex things. I walk into a room and people just get dumber.
How old is that Texaco?
Oh, now that's
Honestly, I want to say it's probably around 75 or 80. You know, I mean, 1975, 1980 era.
Yeah.
It's not one of the super ancient ones, but it is an old one.
Yeah.
It was a gumball machine.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, and I've got the key for it and everything. You can open up the
okay.
bottom. You actually have to put a penny in and pull
Yeah.
the thing,
Yeah.
and it worked. But I thought
Sorry about that, Steve.
it's a lot better for me if I put some lights in
If it was
Right.
if it's
You
the
know.
C19, I know what you're feeling, buddy. It took me 3 weeks to get rid of that. Steve said not right now because he's got the bug, whatever it is. I'm not sure which bug it is.
Well, there's like at least 3 of them going around to choose from.
Yeah, it's got that. We got 2 or 3 different flues, and then the whole C19 crap still, whatever.
Yeah.
That wasn't fun. That was, I got to tell you, I have been run over. I've fallen off of motorcycles at high speed. I have been stabbed. That was the worst I felt and lived through.
Oh, yeah.
I swear that those
It
3
ain't no
weeks,
joke.
I was horrible. But you know, it is what it is. I still haven't, my eyesight still hasn't come back totally from all that. And I'm sure that it's making my arthritis flare up even more,
It's definitely something that's
it causes your
it hits
your
it sticks
immune
around.
system to really freak out. And I had enough problems to begin with. But anyway, he's got the 1973 you thought you still had. What?
I think he's talking about the 73 Beetle. Super
Oh,
Beetle.
yeah. Oh, he says, I got the damn bug this week. The 73 Beetle. It makes sense now.
Mhm.
Sorry, Steve. It's hard to keep up with you, brother. Yeah, we all hope you feel better. Thank you, Sean. We all hope you feel better, Steve, because I know it's really rough. But yeah, Digger, ever since I told him and stuff like that, he's been wanting to come out there because he's seen you you've seen him out at different places and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Steve. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
talked to him and spent time and everything.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, the bug. Oh yeah, he's got the little Vespa he's got and all the other little stuff he's got and everything. I need him to one of these days plasma cut me some parts and stuff for the Flossy trike because I need some things cut. It'd be easier for it to have it done just laid on the table and have him, you know,
Yeah.
than to whatever me cut them and then grind it off and then tack it in and everything. So, but that hopefully we'll get that. I want to pull that off now that Jake's just 2 blocks over. I might pull the motor out of the Flossy, take it over, and have him, you know, go through all the outer services, because it needs a bunch of the rubber
Because it has
seals and stuff.
stuff.
Well, the last time I ran it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, yeah, it probably wouldn't take much then.
Well, all the rubber was cracked then. So all the
Oh.
rubber seals and outer gaskets and vacuum stuff and all that was bad. And that's why I ran the preservation stuff through there. Was that?
That sounds like something just dropped and hit me in the foot, but I have no clue what it was.
Is that the precursor to the ceiling fan coming down?
Maybe.
You better not be, because freak out.
I mean, you heard it too.
I know, it just, I don't know
I
what
don't
it
know.
was. It wasn't Hootie. He gave up on us.
No,
He said, you
no,
all
he-
ain't no fun, and left.
Well, the one good thing about Hootie is he's not really a people person, so he does not get up on the table when there's
He
3 of us
doesn't
in
need
here.
you either, really.
Well, yeah,
Just to put the food out, that's cool. But you know, it's
Right.
cool. But you spend time with him because I've
Oh,
seen the
he's-
videos and stuff
he's
and watched
awesome.
it and stuff. Yeah, he's pretty cool. So, but yeah, hopefully, if we can work it, I'll have the Gopher for short trips and the Flossy for a little bit longer trips. I still don't want to take the Flossy out onto, like, you know, 675, 70 and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I can go any place I need to go on a back road. I mean, just like I do with the Gopher.
But-
The Gopher, it just takes me longer to get there, and running at that highest speed, the way it's geared down, never was intended
it's
to go
not
that
made
fast.
for that.
So me doing 50 and 60 mile an hour is just wear and tear for no reason. Whereas on the Flossy trike, 50 and 60 mile an hour,
Yeah.
you know, with that little air cooled motor is nothing.
Well, all you have to do is clean the bus out and
Your bus,
load it up. Your bus,
my bus.
school bus.
That's your bus. I just got
Yeah.
stuff stored in it.
That's it. I had it all painted, sanded
Who?
down, painted.
Who?
I did.
Who?
You.
Like I ought to get out from the middle of this.
I patched all the fiberglass holes.
Well,
I
that was-
sanded and primered and put rust mort on that. That thing would be to the ground right now if I hadn't done what I did. But anyway,
Well, anyway,
And-
you've
and I
loaded
kept
that on
asking,
your
and I
mom.
kept asking you, "Are you going to take it out?" He was making it into a hunting vehicle, so it's a 30 passenger, right?
It's a big, it's a
It's a
full
s-
size school bus.
Yeah, it has a
Yeah.
360 big block in it.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a three-
it's a 60 series.
Right. It's a 30 passenger.
That's probably
60 series.
mid 70s.
It's a what year is it?
80.
It's an 80.
80.
Okay.
So it is the 360 GMC big block
Big block with Allison transmission.
with the big Allison transmission in it. So it's got the transmission in it that'll it'll pull, but it's a in-town vehicle. That's why it's short and it's geared. So you get it out on the highway doing 60 and stuff like that, and it's going to be screaming.
It's kind of like my van.
But he needed to rebuild the carburetor because you'd start it up and a stream about the size of my finger would squirt out the size of the carburetor, just pouring oil over everything. And he needed to rebuild the carburetor, and he just never did. And he never took it hunting. And I asked him, I said, "Are you going to take it out?" "No, I don't think." I said, "Can I put some stuff in it?" He said, "Yes." So I filled it up.
So now it's a storage.
So,
shed.
well, now it has computer parts that I'm still hunting for someone that wants vintage computer components. If you need some vintage computer components ranging from 1982 to
Windows 95.
to 99. No, it has XP. So 99, 2000, 2003. So I've got, and some of them brand new in the box, never been used. But a lot of stuff for scrap steel, palladium, aluminum, magnesium, gold, silver, whatever. Anyway, instant messing me on Facebook. Anyway, so I filled it up with that, and I have emptied it to a point and filled it back up many times.
Yeah.
Tell him about the 9-horse boat motor.
Oh, the McCullough.
Up
Oh
in
my gosh.
Sandusky Bay.
So Dad's got this. We had at the time, what was it, a 10-footer?
A 12-footer.
12-foot boat. We had the 16, but that was
Right.
much later. So we had this 12-foot boat, but it was a boat. I think, was it a Sea Nymph?
No, it was Sears.
Was it Sears? The
Yeah.
12-footer was a Sears?
Yeah.
It
I
probably
thought-
has the shroud is probably cast aluminum.
No.
No, it was
oh,
open
no.
front, open. It
Well, no,
just
he's
had a
talking about the
little
motor. He's talking
Yeah,
about
the
the motor.
seat. Oh,
The McCullough, the chainsaw people.
yeah.
So the McCullough motor, it's really high revving motor, and it has a power or speed prop on it. Not a power prop, it's got a speed prop on it.
Yeah.
So it wants to go no matter what. Even at idle, it pretty much wants to go pretty good. So we were out in Sandusky Bay up through Canada because we used to go to Canada all the time
Yeah.
and fishing and hunting and whatever. So we were up there and everything, and we were out on and Dad would get it out there and goose it up, and the front end would come up. So he'd move the gas tank forward and stuff to keep it down. Well, that still didn't do it. So he put me to the nose of this thing. So I'm sitting in the very front seat, that holding on to the bow like this on the front of this thing. And he goes out through there and he goes,
It might have been the 1.5 foot of the tail end of the boat in the water.
he went, "Eh," and that thing came up, and when it planed out, the back, everything was in the air except maybe 1.5 foot of the boat
Yeah.
and the prop. Everything else was flying in the air, and we were moving. There were 4-cylinder
Yeah.
and V6
Yeah.
inboard motors out there. We were running rings around them. Literally, we would pass them and go around and come around the other side of them like that. Why they were flat out open, and that thing was just like this.
Huh.
We got back into shore, and that guy come back in, and he goes, "What do you got in that thing?" And Dad said, 9-horse McCullough. He said,
There ain't no damn way you got a 9-horse in that.
"Yeah." He
Well,
said,
there it is.
he had to come over. Dad flipped the little thing back, showed him, and this little teeny motor, sitting in that thing like that and whatever. But it just happened to be the right with the speed prop, power to weight ratio, and the way we had
Well,
it set for it to
It was
plane up.
before my time, but of go-kart racing. But the McCulloughs,
Yeah.
those used to be the engine to have.
Oh, they
on-
were.
on a
We had to
go-kart.
been turning every bit of 12,000, 13,000 RPM
Oh,
in
yeah.
that thing. Every bit of it.
Don was sitting like that right there, boy, hanging on to that.
I couldn't let go. I was in the air. So the boat was like this with just about 1.5 feet of that in the water. The only thing else was the
At,
prop
at that
touching.
point, you were just along for the ride.
Well, what am I going to do? He's 10 feet behind me, and I'm and back. you know, you didn't tell Dad nothing anyway back. It didn't matter whether
Oh,
he was
yeah.
right, wrong, or indifferent. You didn't.
We were men.
Yeah, he just. I know. I'm out there like this. The wind was hitting me so hard in the face that the tears were streaming down the back of my. Just, you know what I'm talking about? On a motorcycle, it's the same way. If you don't have glasses or goggles on,
I would say that
What?
too, but you know, even though we knew you were actually
I was crying my ass off. Dude, old man was trying to kill me. But it was just, I mean, it's just whack, 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 whack. Just, it was like a flat rock on a. That's exactly what I was like. But that just, and that guy, you know, you could have won a bet with that guy.
Yeah.
You could have won $1 million with that guy because he swore up and down there was no way that was a 9-horse motor.
Uh-huh.
But we put it on that, the 16-footer.
Yeah.
Now, the 12-footer was really wide.
Yeah.
You know, up front I could do that, but when you got back so far, you could just barely touch
Yeah.
the side. So it was a wide boat,
Yeah.
short. And
Then I
the
got a
16-footer was very
heavier.
narrow.
It was heavier.
Right. It was
metal.
heavier, thicker aluminum, but it was 16 foot long, but very narrow. Oh my gosh, that thing, it still would push it, but it would, when you really goosed it, it would pick up the front end and you could turn like this. You could like that, and it would just go turn like that. So it would go like it. We were at Lake Erie that time. It wasn't Sandusky Bay. I was in Lake Erie, and you let me take it out, and I moved the thing all the way forward. And I would be going along, and all these big boats were just going zigzagging in and out. And that was the only way I could get away from them, was to goose it, lift the nose up, and shank it around, and it would pick it up like this, and it would walk in between these big cabin cruisers instead of. And I'm trying to fish. I had no idea that it was a boating. It was a in and out of the bay, and you weren't supposed to stop there and fish. I had no idea. So I'm stopping there fishing, all these boats going by, brr, brr, and I'm
Kids.
I know.
Darn kids.
There was a lot of fun up there when we used to do that.
Mhm.
But all right, guys, we're running out of battery or something because it went down into low mode. We're using all the Digger's batteries.
My battery's probably
Yeah.
about to
So,
go.
but I appreciate everybody.
Oh yeah, bring the RPMs down, putting 35-inch tires on the Gopher.
I think the Gopher's geared pretty low. It might run with that.
Say 35s on that thing, you probably have a top end of 120. Of course, you'd never be able to put the front end on the ground, you know.
Well, yeah, but the geometry, I've got to keep that thing level, because anytime you lower or raise the rear of a trike or motorcycle, it changes the jump, and it'll pitch. It'll pitch over and stuff. Same way when we used to put 6 foot over length forks on the front end of those things, and if you didn't set the tri-tree, get a set right there, when you turn, instead of it turning, it would pitch over, and a lot of people got
I remember
a lot of decoration on the side of their body.
Bicycles.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, you know, we would extend the forks and everything, and they would handle all kinds of funky.
Yeah.
But you look cool doing it.
Yeah, that's when you just learn to ride on the back wheel.
Well, yeah.
And stuff like that. All right, guys, we are going to go. We've been yakking enough. I really appreciate this. Was just like a thing to get over, get to visit with Digger and stuff, see the models that he'd been putting together. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys will be starting to see a lot more of that on his channel. Make sure you go over and check his out. You still got plenty of drone stuff that you can put up from different places and everything. So he'll do the drone stuff and the model car stuff. Get that up. And I appreciate y'all stopping in, saying hey to Dad. This was good for him. Did you have fun, Dad?
Yep.
Did you have fun? look at that's pretty good.
Sorry, you guys can't really tell, but I'm about a foot behind him.
Yeah.
And he's about a foot behind me. We're kind of staggered.
Yeah, and you're sitting on a cat house.
I am sitting on a cat house, yes.
Just saying, it is what it is. So, but I appreciate it, and maybe we'll do this again sometime. I know I'm going to catch
I have a feeling that
Keith's
before Christmas, I think we may get a visit by Santa, an elf, and a reindeer.
We might be able to get
It's
that.
very possible.
We don't know. We'll see how it all works out, but be prepared. So I would give warning most times more often about going live, but honestly, I never It's my life. I do not know from 1 second to the next. I have all these plans. You know me. I've got plan A through W, but I never know. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it. Then I got to get on the road. We got to get him home, get him some stuff. The dog needs to eat. The dog, you need to get a pill.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys.
Runny.
Yeah, right. See ya.
See y'all later.
All right. Say, wait, bye, Dad.
Hey.
Yeah, there we go. Dad's just got to hold his hands up. He really don't even have to shake them.
That's mean.
No, it's real.